Pastor John here with your daily dose. Remember, little pills fix big ills. In Isaiah chapter 55, God has a lot to say about what he has in mind for his wonderful words of life, what he intends for them to accomplish and produce in our lives. In verse 12, he actually says, "And ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands." What do you suppose he's referring to by the mountains and the hills? First of all, he already let you know his words are intended to produce joy and peace in any circumstance that you find yourself in. The mountains represent those almost insurmountable obstacles that we are confronted with from time to time. You know, when you accomplish climbing a mountain, you get quite a reward. I mean, number one, you get the view. You get to see from the top of that mountain what couldn't have been seen at the base. But not only that, people appreciate and recognize the value. Some people are recorded in history because they climbed a certain mountain. So he says the mountains and the hills. To me, the mountains represent those almost insurmountable obstacles that we're confronted with in life, but the hills represent just the day-to-day routine. Nobody's going to give you any great attaboy for climbing that hill. Those everyday routine and responsibilities that we have to accomplish that you don't get that much of a view from the top. And everybody just kind of expects that you're going to do it. But still, whether you're talking about a mountain or whether you're talking about a hill, it takes energy, it takes drive, it takes motivation to be able to do this. So God's saying, hey, listen, I have these words of life. Another word for life. Part of the definition of that word life is divine energy. You know, today maybe you could use some energy. Maybe you could use some strength. You know, maybe you could use the motivation that it takes to continue to keep going, to find the strength to carry on. Well, that's part of what God has in mind for you in these wonderful words of life. He also said, "The mountains and the hills will break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands." What an interesting statement. Well, you see, in Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 through 3, it says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." I want to encourage you today to take heed to those words that you find in Psalms 1 through 3, and recognize and realize that part of God's goal for these words, part of his purpose in having us immerse ourselves in these words, is because these words are full of life. And that means they're full of energy, they're full of strength, they're full of the dynamic power that you and I need just to get through the day. And recognize and realize this: the person who does that is compared to a tree. This says that all the trees of the field will clap their hands. I guarantee you, if you choose to saturate your soul in these wonderful words of life, all of the people on the face of the earth will be able to recognize the uniqueness of your life and applaud you. God bless you.